All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are live today from the highest capital in the world, La Paz, Bolivia. Elevation at some locations is 14,250 feet. I've been there. Unless you live there, you're going to arrive and be oxygen depleted because it will take time for your body to acclimatize. If you're a native like Gabriel Poma, who's our lecturer today, who's an otolaryngologist from Bolivia, he is fully acclimatized and able to speak fluently to us without any shortness of breath. So it's indeed a pleasure today to learn about the healthcare infrastructure of Bolivia and the ENT training in the country. And with that said, I would like to introduce you to Gabriel Poma from La Paz, Bolivia.
Thank you, Richard. Hello, everyone. I am in La Paz, Bolivia. Yeah, like Richard said, here we live at high altitude. Jacob Lopez told me that Richard came here and arrived at 4,200 meters over sea. It's a very, very high altitude for a city. Well, I will share my screen. I will tell you about how is the healthcare system in Bolivia. Well, if there is some problem, please tell me, please. Well, the healthcare system in Bolivia and the ENT training, it has some particularities. We are at America, as to America, we are in the heart of South America, between Brazil, Peru, Chile, Argentina, and Paraguay. Like you see here, we have a part of our country, where there is a principally three. These cities are La Paz, Oro, and Potosí. They are at altitude more or less 3,100 meters over here, and other cities, Cochabamba, Sucre, and that their altitude is more or less 2,600 meters over sea. And the other region, big region, near the Amazon River is Santa Cruz, Beni, and Pando. And the altitude is more or less 400 meters over sea. We have an area for about 1 million kilometers and a population of 11 million of people. You know, we have a great biodiversity and we have a great diversity of pathologies too. We have 9 departments or with their own city capitals. The capital for Bolivia is Sucre. Is in the center, and La Paz, where I live, is the city government, and we have a main airport at Santa Cruz. What about the healthcare? What about the health in Bolivia? We have, in relation to other countries, we have 47 physicians every 100,000 people. In Bolivia, we are more or less 150 ENT doctors. 20% of this group are in retirement age. And every year we have 4 new ENT doctors of our system. we have more or less 8 to 9 and 10 ENT doctors that make otology surgeries. And we have in Bolivia 120 speech therapists, but every year we have 20 to 30 new speech therapists. Excuse me.
Go ahead, Gabriel. There was an interference from one.
Well, excuse me. Well, like I told you, we live in La Paz. La Paz has a population of 2 million of people, more or less. In all Bolivia, we have 3 levels of medical centers. The first, second, and third level. The first level is with they are centered with general physician, nurse, for primary attention. At the second level, there are hospitals with the basic specialty like internal medicine, surgery, pediatric, gynecology, and anesthesiology. And the third level of centers, they are the most complex hospitals. That there is one in every city, principal city of Bolivia. What about our healthcare system? The health system in Bolivia has 3 types: the public healthcare, called Sistema Público, the social healthcare called Seguridad Social a corto plazo, and the private healthcare Sistema Privado. The public healthcare is financed of the budget of every municipality. These resources are from the government, but it's a little quantity of money. But the second system is the social healthcare system. The system has is financed by the workers and the companies. What does it mean? The workers and the boss of the workers apport for the healthcare insurance of the workers. So this is a kind of system that is too very strong in Bolivia. Then we have the private healthcare system. Well, it's called Sistema Privado. That I think that is similar to every country. Well, how to be a doctor in Bolivia? Well, after study 12 years at the school, you have to win a test for study medicine at the university system. There is 6 years at the school medicine, 1 year in internship. If you want to continue study, the specialty in ENT is 4 years. In all Bolivia, we have 4 places for new residents for ENT training. And of all the physicians in Bolivia, more or less 20% of the new doctors get out of Bolivia for study some specialty. Well, what about the ENT residence programs? We have a program with 4 years. There is 1 to 2 residents per year. The basic procedure that is the goal for this resident is amygdalectomy, septoplasty, tracheostomy, tympanoplasty, laryngeal microsurgeries, and nasosinusal endoscope surgeries. There is a fellows program here, so any advanced training is a personal decision. Well, what about the year? The first year basically is about treatment ambulatory and emergency treatment. The second year they work in temporal bone laboratory, rhinology and laryngology surgeries. The third years they work with otology and endoscopic surgeries, and the 4th years is more complex with otology and endoscopic surgeries in school base. They could participate in implant surgeries and oncology surgeries. Well, we have two strong system, the public healthcare system and the social security healthcare system. Now, in La Paz, we have these two systems that has the resident of ENT. Like you see, the public system is a little old from the beginning of the 20th century. And on this other side, we have the social healthcare system that is strong. This is one of the his hospitals called Materno Infantil, where I work. The problem of both systems is the collapsation of the people. There is a lot of time for get attention in every system. Well, into the social healthcare system, we have a hospital. This hospital has a particularity. It's called Otorhinolaryngologist, where I worked the last 4-5 years. Now I am working at other hospital. This hospital has 25 beds. There is 6 ENT doctors into the hospital, and into the system there is other 5 ENT doctors. Into the hospital there are 2 speech therapies, and there are 5 speech therapy in other centers of the same system, and they have 4 internships. This hospital has 4 residents, 1 of every year. It has a surgery room with endoscope camera system, a microscope, a diode laser, and other equipment. But the quality of these surgery rooms is different. For example, in the public system, they have endoscope camera Wolf and a microscope of Rand Leica. It's a little it's better. They are the residents can participate in 3 to 4 surgeries per day, and it's a complete healthcare insurance because for example, we have here a service of imagenology where they make the embolization for some tumor that we have to make surgeries. Well, Japan, yeah, excuse me. I think that is it's a global look to our healthcare system in Bolivia, a global look to the ENT training that we work here with the residents and with the population of Bolivia. Thank you, Richard.
Okay, thank you very much, Gabriel, for your introduction to your country. One of the things I want to ask you is, tell me about audiologists. You know, you mentioned speech therapists, you mentioned ENT doctors. How many audiologists are there in Bolivia?
Excuse me, Richard, I didn't hear you.
Okay, Gabriel, you didn't mention anything about the audiologists. Can you tell us about audiologists? Audiologas. Can you hear me?
Okay, now yes, yeah, now yes. How many speech therapists we have here?
Audiologists.
Audiologists. Audiologists, we have here in Bolivia more or less, I think 6 persons.
6 people for 11 million.
Audiologists. They are speech therapy that here is called phonoaudiology, and with a specialty exclusively in audiology, 6 persons to 8 persons in Bolivia. But all speech therapists are training to make some audiologist studies.
So basically for 11 million people, you have 6 audiologists. Okay. What about head and neck surgery? Do ENT doctors do laryngectomy? Do they do parotid surgery?
Yes. Here in Bolivia, I know more or less 4 head and neck surgeons, 4, but in many places in the country, the ENT doctor makes that kind of surgeries.
Okay, so, okay. And what about referrals? I've been to Bolivia, and as you mentioned, most of the people live in the major cities of Santa Cruz, Cochabamba, and La Paz. But there's still, a very diverse population that lives in the Amazon region and outside the major cities. What happens when somebody in the rural system they get referred to the department hospital, and then if need be, would they be referred all the way to either Santa Cruz or to La Paz if they had a problem that could not be taken care of at the lower level?
What happened here? The healthcare system has 3 levels of attention. Well, the first level, we have medical centers in country, in little cities, well, and with some problem, they are referred to the second level. If the second level don't have the specialty, they have to refer to the third level. The third level the third level has hospital of more complex, that every hospital are in La Paz, Cochabamba, Santa Cruz, and the other cities, Oruro, Potosí, Sucre, Tarija, Beni, Pando. Every department in Bolivia has a third level hospital. And some special cases, for example, a cochlear implant. The healthcare system in Bolivia don't provide a resource for medical device, some medical device. So the families and the patient has to buy this medical device, and they look for some hospital to make the surgery. For example, in La Paz, we have 3 hospitals that could make this kind of surgery. Hospital de Clínicas, de Caja Nacional de Salud, and Hospital del Norte in El Alto City. And it's the same in Santa Cruz and Cochabamba. Every department has a third level hospital for make surgeries of big complexity.
Great. Okay, we have another question from Lillian, and she wants to know about radiotherapy. Okay, radiotherapy for patients who have tumors. Do you have radiotherapy in Bolivia?
Yes, we have in the public system and in the social healthcare system, and private too.
Okay, and do you have team approaches? Do you have team approaches where you have, like a tumor board where you'll get doctors from radiology, doctors from oncology, doctors from ENT who will all talk about the complex cases. Gabriel.
Not in every, not every, but we have specific team for radiology, a team for oncology, clinical oncology, a team for oncology surgery, a team that in a special kind of surgery. Yes, we have.
Okay.
Here in our.
All right. The connection. I'm having I'm having some trouble with the connection, Gabriel. We just lost you. All right, folks, just bear with me here for a second. We'll see if we can get Gabriel back online. Hold on.
Hello, I come back.
Okay, yep. Gabriel, thank you for rejoining us. Yeah, so basically you do have radiotherapy in Bolivia. You do have tumor boards. You discuss the complex head and neck surgery cases collectively as a group. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Any other questions here? I've been to Bolivia numerous times, probably 8 or 9 times, maybe more. I found it very difficult the first time I arrived, that the high altitude just it gave me hallucinations, to tell you the truth. If anybody's seen pictures from Salvador Dali, he's got pictures of like a clock with human hands that kind of go like this. Literally, the clock never moved for me for an hour, but it did move. And then a lot of people will get headaches, loss of appetite, stomach cramping from the high altitude. And when I got there, I think my oxygen saturation was about 88% on room air. Now, every time I've come back, I take some special pills called Sorochi pills. They are I think it's phenobarbital, aspirin, and some herb, which helps with the high altitude. You can also take mate de coca. It's a tea that comes from the leaf of the cocoa plant, which is from cocaine, but it has nothing in it that is has any of the properties of cocaine. It just helps you with the headaches. Sometimes it even helps to improve the appetite. Doing surgery there, it's a little more difficult unless you're really super acclimatized. I've never had to do surgery on oxygen, but I can feel myself being slower and having to pay much more attention to my cognitive processes in La Paz. I've operated in La Paz. I've operated in Santa Cruz, which is essentially sea level. I've operated in Trinidad, which is again sea level. I've operated in what's that town? I operated with Yakov and did a lot of stapes down there.
In Sucre, Richard.
Sucre?
Yeah.
Okay, Sucre. Okay, this is Yakov, everybody. Yakov is
Hi, everybody.
Yakov Lopez. He's got a Russian first name, but he's a Bolivian. And Yakov I've known for many years. And he does a lot of otologic surgery. Yakov works at a large hospital. It's a government-run hospital in La Paz, near the airport. And the city has a specific name. It's called El Alto. Okay.
Yeah.
All I can say about El Alto is that it is basically like the place. It's Armageddon. If you think about the last days of people on the planet Earth, that's about what it's like up there. It's congestion. There's wall-to-wall people. It's very dangerous. I spent a night there at a hotel because I had to catch a very early flight. And from the city of La Paz to the airport, you have to go up 2,000 feet, and it takes about a half an hour in a car.
Yeah,
So the
yeah,
city of La Paz is about 12,500. The city of El Alto is like 14,000, let's say.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and
exactly.
I was there on a Friday night. It was, I would say 50 to 70% of the people on the street were drunk. They have a tendency to use a lot of alcohol. It's a dangerous place. Okay. It's a unique culture. It's a unique culture in El Alto. Okay. Um, so, and then there's a very nice place called Lake Titicaca. It borders Peru. It borders Bolivia. The papyrus boat it's famous for papyrus boat. I think it's one of the highest lakes in the world. Um,
Yeah,
and if anybody understands Spanish, the Peru side is what's called caca, and the Bolivian side is called titi. Okay, so it's a kind of a derogatory statement, but it is something that people refer to. Um, but it's very interesting because as Gabriel said, Bolivia is very diversified. It does not have an a border with the ocean. It's a landlocked country, but it has the Amazon, it has the Andes, it has the Amazon, the Andes. It has fields and compost. It's just very 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 diversified. So I think we lost our friends from Bolivia again. Oh, Yakov's still here. But I think Gabrielle had a fairly poor connection. If anybody here's Gabrielle again. If anybody has any further questions, please do so. Yakov, do you have anything you want to add today to the lecture? If you want, tell me in Spanish and I can say it in English, however you
can
would.
you traduce me? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I talk in Spanish.
Okay.
Acabo de leer una pregunta de uno de los colegas que pregunta si en Bolivia hay diferenciación entre la atención pediátrica y la atención en adultos, en otorrino. Y en
Okay.
Bolivia no hay todavía otorrinolaringólogos con especialidad en pediatría.
Okay.
Solo hay otorrinolaringología general.
Okay. So the question was, is there pediatric ENT specialists in Bolivia?
Yeah.
And the answer is ENT. There is no subspecialty of pediatric otolaryngology in Bolivia. When you become an otolaryngologist, you take care of from newborns to the elderly. Okay. Okay. So they have a very, diverse and broad spectrum in terms of their ability to treat patients. Okay. Okay. Jaco, ¿tiene más que quiere hablar?
That's all, Richard. Thank you, everybody. In Bolivia, there are many problems in the health system. I think in all the countries of the Latin American countries, there are many problems. In Bolivia, it's the same. In NT specialty, there are many problems. There are a few specialty surgeons, NT surgeons. There are just a little audiology specialties. There are in Bolivia there are many problems in the otologic surgery. In all Bolivia, 10 surgeons, otology surgeons for all Bolivia is a problem.
Which is basically 1 per million, is what Yakov's saying. There's basically 10.
1 per million otology surgeons.
Right. In other words, 1 ENT doctor per 1 million who can do otologic surgery. Okay. Remember, we've got a country of almost 12 million people. We've got 120 ENT doctors. The majority live in La Paz, Cochabamba, and Santa Cruz. okay,
Yeah.
3 cities. Okay, we have half the population doesn't live in the major cities. They live outside the major cities, and there's very few ENT doctors. So there's a huge disparity. The doctors want to stay in the big cities. They want to they want to have a career. They want to live relatively comfortable. So they stay in the city where there's a lot more competition and there's like larger concentration of the population. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Ostap say, do you have cochlear implant government program in Bolivia? There are not. In Bolivia, there are not implant program. The government is in other stories and other politics.
Yeah, the government spends money on other things other than cochlear implant programs. Okay,
yeah,
let me ask you a
not.
question. How about deaf children's schools for deaf children?
Gabriel, do you have this?
The principal city of this, Bolivia, Santa Cruz, Cochabamba, and La Paz have a special school for this kind of children. Yeah. But with the same problem, the finances of the budget is very less. It's little the budget for this kind of schools.
Mm-hmm. Okay, anybody else have any questions? You know, from my perspective, having traveled pretty much to every country in South America and worked, when you compare Paraguay and Bolivia, there's a huge difference. I mean, Paraguay's half the population of Bolivia. They have a fellowship program in otology, and they're much more. There's Mercedes-Benz and Porsche dealers in Asuncion. I believe there's Mercedes dealers in La Paz, but the thing about Bolivia that I like more than anything is that the culture still retains a lot of its beauty. Sure, they have cell phones, they have, cars, they have all the amenities of everyday life, but the people there are more down to earth. Okay, they're more connected, and it's a really good feeling to be there. The other thing that is very interesting, because in the city of La Paz, it's basically in a valley. It's almost like being in Switzerland, because they have a system of cable cars. It's called telefericos that go all the way from El Alto throughout the whole city. Now, Gabriel, do you have any pictures of the teleferica that you could show us?
I have a problem with my PC, excuse me.
Okay, no problem.
But yeah, we have eight lines, Jacob, 8 lines of telepheric.
Yeah, they have lines
lines of telepheric like the subway in other cities.
They have an above ground subway system that is made of telefericos, which are cable cars. They were made in Switzerland. I believe they were that was a project from the Swiss government to the Bolivian government, or it was Austria that built the cable car system. So instead of using taxis to get around, people use cable cars. I'll put a picture of the cable car system in the chat later so you guys can see it. But La Paz, by all means, is one of the most unique cities of the world with regards to mass transit. So with that being said, Gabriel, thank you very much for your time. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Richard.
Yakov, thank you for your input as well. And
thank you to you, Richard.
Okay. And I hope everybody enjoyed this. We'll put it on YouTube for those who didn't. And as they say where I come from, que tenga buen día. In other words, have a nice day.
Thank you.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Richard.